Hello, everybody out there. We are here at the Marketing 360 offices in Fort Collins. This is Brandon. My name is Scott. And today we want to do a little introductory conversation about how to market and generate interest in a crowdfunding and pretty much specifically Kickstarter campaign. Obviously, there's a huge amount of appeal. A lot of people are looking to kind of get their startup going by using Kickstarter to get some funding. And there are ways that you can generate interest that are very valuable. Brandon works with quite a few clients who have done this, and we've done it successfully. So he's going to share his experience. So Brandon, let's just kind of start out. Obviously, I think the social media part of it is big with this.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about how you get people started with their social media marketing strategy for this.
It's really important because for a lot of companies, this is maybe they're launching their first product or launching kind of a new service or something like that. So you can't just say, well, I'm on Kickstarter now and hope for the best. You know, very rarely is it ever you build it and then they will come. You have to build that community as well. And that's what social media marketing is really valuable for, because you can start to spread your brand awareness and spread your message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, things like that, whatever channel makes sense. And you can start to spread the message out beyond Kickstarter.
Okay,
so
good.
it's really important to be able to do that, because otherwise you're going to sit out there with your goal and just watching it every day and it's never going to go anywhere.
No, you can't just tell a few friends. You've got to get it to spread.
Right, yeah.
So,
which is exactly what social media really is. It is telling a few friends, but it's a much bigger platform. So you have a lot more opportunity, and instead of a conversation like this, you are standing on a soapbox with a megaphone. So your reach is a lot better that way.
So where do you start? For example, on Facebook, do you create a Facebook profile specifically for the Kickstarter project?
Not specifically for the project. Generally speaking, a lot of companies will already have kind of a company Facebook page or something like that. One of the things that I found that actually works fairly well is to create a Kickstarter event, because you can share that, you can put a specific timeline on it, you can share updates, and then even if you wanted to, you can run sponsored ads or sponsored promotions for that event too, to drive people back to that event or to the Kickstarter page that maybe aren't connected with you somehow, or they're not connected with your friends or your page.
Give us a little bit more specificity there in terms of what is the event. What do you mean by that?
So and you've probably seen this, where you have event pages on Facebook. A friend invites you to go on a 5K run because they're not really a good friend. And so an event page like that, you can invite friends or people that have liked your page to check out our Kickstarter. I've seen a lot of companies, and I've done this before too, where you even have a pre-Kickstarter launch event. Where you can set up a one-on-one with the founders or the partners, and they're talking about the project and talking about the product that they're launching on Kickstarter. And it works to get people excited about the fact that it's coming. And they can get involved and they can jump in kind of on the ground floor there. So creating an event like that allows you to communicate with people before Kickstarter is launched, and you have a calendar essentially where you can continue to remind people and remind them to go and actually fund you on Kickstarter.
Good. So it's a momentum builder.
Absolutely.
In a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
What is, when you're creating some of this content on social media, for example, what is the kind of message? It's because it's not like you're just trying to sell something directly. It's a little different. How do you kind of craft the message to get people interested?
Sure. Well, obviously the message is going to change based on the product or service or whatever you're launching. So, but the underlying theme that I found works best is kind of a come alongside us, we're doing this together. You know, if you never really kind of want to create something where it's like, hey, give me your money and we'll eventually give you a product, maybe, if it works. If you're doing this where you kind of craft the message like we're all in this together, we're all working on this service or all working on this product, keeping that kind of information flow going, and you find that you get a lot more flexibility with the consumer base when you do that. A lot of Kickstarter campaigns, they can be delayed, or you don't get the product out on time or things like that. And if you've built a consumer base of people they're flexible and they understand that maybe this is something new, and so they're a lot more willing to give. If you're like, hey, we're delayed a couple of weeks, or the shipping container, is a little bit slower getting here. So by crafting your message in the very beginning as we're all partners together, then you get a lot more flexibility and a lot more forgiveness as well.
So you want to find people who really believe in what you're doing.
Absolutely. Very rarely are you ever going to see results or see success with somebody that is, it's just a commodity or a commodity product that really anybody can do. The uniqueness of the product or service really makes a difference, and finding the right kind of people that are not just, they don't just believe in it, but they're advocates for it. And they share the Kickstarter on their social pages, and they share it with their friends, and they talk about it with families and things like that. That becomes really important because it begins to use the power of social media and the power of individual people to spread your message.
Cool. So let's dive into that a little bit more then in terms of the tactics. So obviously when you're starting out, the people who are involved directly in the Kickstarter are going to want to reach out to their networks, start spreading the word to family and friends. Then you get on to things like Facebook and some of the other social media platforms, getting more and more people to spread it. What about even some of the advertising tactics? Or do you use some of that?
Absolutely. The advertising, in my opinion, is one of the most important things. If you've spent all of this time and energy in crafting a really complex and really detailed Kickstarter page, you've created your Facebook event and you've invited all your friends and family to it as well, and you've got a great product or a great service that you're trying to launch, and you're ready to go, the worst thing that you can do is avoid advertising. Because what I found is a lot of founders and creators, they kind of work in an echo chamber a little bit, where all your friends and family, of course, they're supporting the product and they love the product and they love the idea because they love you. But not everybody else is going to believe in that, especially right off the bat. They don't know you. They don't know your history of success. They don't know how much passion you've put into this project. So you have to reach out to them and get them to come and actually look at the page, look at Kickstarter, watch your video, look at the product, and really engage with you and with whatever you're crowdfunding. So advertising specifically on Facebook is actually a really great way to capture the perfect audience. You can target people that are already familiar with a crowdfunding source like Kickstarter or even Indiegogo or GoFundMe, anything like that. So you've got
specifically, you mean you can go on and you can elect to have it so that your ads only display to people who have previously participated or shown interest in crowdfunding.
Yep. So you've already narrowed your audience down to people that already know what it is, which is really, really helpful in reducing your cost and increasing your visibility. But even more than that, you can reduce that group of people down to your exact kind of target demographic. If you're going after, men aged 22 to 38, you can do that kind of targeting. Even more so, you can target geographic locations or you can target interests. If your product or service really kind of seeks a very niche market, you can target that based on their interests, their behaviors, pages that people like. So you can get very, very specific about the people that you're reaching out to. So you're not just an advertisement, you're not just a billboard on the side of the road, but you're actually targeted and direct towards people that would truly find value in your product.
That's amazing to be able to do that.
It's really, really valuable. And it's very cool to see too.
Yeah.
It's very cool to get down to that kind of, fine-grained targeting.
Sure.
Where you're not just shouting to the world, but you're actually, in this sense, especially on social media, having a conversation essentially with your best customers.
That's cool. So for example, say I came up with what I thought was a really incredible rub for barbecue.
Sure.
And I wanted to get this going. I could really go on and find a demographic, like you said, of maybe men aged 20 to 40 that I wanted to hit. And I could target them geographically in maybe certain cities or maybe certain rural areas, wherever I felt like I wanted to try to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
And I can also find out whether or not they like barbecue in the first place.
You can. And one of the nice things, you can also craft the ads based on the message. So maybe you want to target areas around colleges in South Carolina. Well, you can target those ads and kind of write things towards the typical South Carolina style of barbecue.
Right. Okay.
But then you also want to target folks in Texas, and you can craft the ads around how Texas people do barbecue, which is not the same as South Carolina. So you can change your messaging and the image of the messaging to match the people as best you can.
Perfect example. That's so important because of what you were saying. You've got to find believers.
Right.
If you just try to advertise to people directly, it's really not going to work.
Right. You could advertise on TV and get the same kind of results if you're just taking a shotgun approach.
Sure. Do you also use Google, like search for this type of marketing?
Generally for crowdfunding, not quite as much as you might think. Because Google is very much an inbound marketing tactic, you generally don't find that people are actively going out there and looking for products that don't exist yet.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of search related around that. That being said, I do like to set up two very specific types of campaigns. One related around your brand or your product name, because the hope obviously is that we're starting to get some more interest based off of your Kickstarter, and people are starting to look for you. So you want to make sure that you show up when they're looking.
Okay.
Maybe your product name too. And secondly, I like to set up retargeting campaigns, because as people have been to your Kickstarter page, your website, or anything like that, we want to make sure that your brand and the service and the Kickstarter countdown, essentially, they're aware of it. And they start seeing those display ads across hundreds, thousands of different websites that they visit. So you're able to reach people that way. They've already interacted with your brand one way or the other. And now you're just reminding them that you exist. And we can change out those ads as we get closer to the end of the Facebook or the Kickstarter campaign. So we can remind them, hey, 7 days left, 4 days left, last 48 hours, and really drive people back so that they are funding you.
That's good. That's a very specific and very thorough way to do it.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. What about the Kickstarter page itself? Do you work a little bit with the content there and try to help people kind of craft that?
Absolutely. Really as much as is necessary or isn't. I've worked with some clients that they honestly do a fantastic job of getting their message out there, and they pour their heart and soul into that content and pictures and just kind of explaining what their product is or what they're trying to crowdfund. Other folks, they pour all their passion into the product, and there's nothing left for content. So that's where I like to sit down with them or get on the phone and really talk about why they got started and what this product is. And then I work with our content creation team, and we can draft up some content for them.
Kind of develop that page so that it has an effective message.
Yep.
That's really cool. What are the time frames for these types of campaigns generally?
Kickstarter campaigns can go anywhere from 30 days to around 60. Generally 30 days seems to be the most popular, but sometimes there's, you get 45 days in there, and some people will stretch it all the way out if they think it's going to be a very popular one, or they've got kind of a slower ramp up, but 30 days seems to be about the average.
Okay, cool. That's good. We look around on the internet and research some of this stuff. One of the things that we recognize is that there's some kind of shifty and shady marketing entities that claim that they can help people with this type of thing, and they really aren't able to do much with it.
Right.
We're here to assure you, and hopefully you are assured at this point, and I think you should be, that we're not one of those.
Absolutely.
We really do have some strategies that can really help you with this. The social media stuff is getting to the point now that it's so robust and so effective that you really do need to take a very strong look at that. You can really branch out and try to make everybody who would be interested in this aware of it.
There's so much power in the social media marketing aspect of this. Both with actually managing the Facebook page and with running the ads, you can get so targeted that you can narrow your focus down to the exact people that would actually be your customer. So you're not wasting money or time on people that just never will be interested. There's always kind of been that approach in marketing where you try to get your message in front of as many people as possible. And that's not how it works anymore.
No.
That's not necessary. That's a waste of money and a waste of resources.
Yeah.
So being able to get laser focused on the exact right person for your business, it's invaluable.
So one other important point here, Brandon, is that you've done the campaign. It's been successful.
Yep.
Now what? Now you've got a business that you have to run and market. What?
Right.
Well, you mentioned that there are a lot of companies out there that just do kind of a Kickstarter marketing. And then once it's done, they're gone. And then you've got to figure out where to go next. How does Marketing 360 transition this into success?
I mean, those companies, they have their role and they've done their job. They've helped market and they've helped create a Kickstarter campaign, but it's kind of that aftercare that's super necessary. Otherwise, you're a business that sold a bunch of product or had a bunch of success on Kickstarter and then no recurring customer base. So you can't always keep going back to Kickstarter. You can't go back there to get more customers or new customers. So what do? How do you take your idea from just being Kickstarter to actually being a fully fleshed out, fully fledged business. And I think that's one of the reasons that Marketing 360 is kind of set apart from many of those, more specialized kind of marketing agencies. We work in all aspects of it. And the challenge is taking a company from Kickstarter to a really fully fledged business. So in doing that, from the very beginning, from day one, our goal is to grow your company. So we start with Kickstarter, but while we're starting with Kickstarter, we're also building that retargeting list of people that they look at the Kickstarter, they look at your website, but maybe they don't fund. Maybe they don't back you for whatever reason. They feel it's too risky, they don't have the money right now, they want to see how it goes, things like that. Well, after Kickstarter is done, we've got a full list of people. Either they've signed up with email to get newsletter information, or they've just been to the site. We've got a whole list of people that we can work to market towards. Now we're taking pre-orders of the product, which of course gives you even more money to help finance the actual creation of the product or service in any way. Right. Beyond that, now you've got the product, you've sold it, you've fulfilled all the Kickstarter requirements, and you've taken care of the backer rewards and things like that. Well, we still have that list that's been continuing to grow over time because your website is getting better organic ranking, obviously, so you're generating new traffic that way. This list of people just continues to grow, and now we change out all the ads again. Now we've got all your product for sale, and we're offering free shipping, something like that. Something to drive these people through. Successfully funded on Kickstarter, use coupon code Kickstarter 2017 for 25% off, something like that. By looking at the marketing aspect holistically, we're able to start from the very beginning with the end in mind. And of course, the end is not just a successful Kickstarter campaign, but an actual successful and growth-oriented business.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really something to keep in mind. Don't miss the opportunity to take all of that momentum, all of that resources, all of that data, and transfer that right into your ongoing long-term business goals.
It is an absolute tragedy when companies spend all this time and money and effort and passion on one aspect of marketing and one aspect of growing their business, and then are unable to continue that moving forward because somebody just didn't do something.
Yeah, the Kickstarter is the beginning, hopefully, of a long-term successful business opportunity.
Exactly right.
So you got to make sure that happens. That's one of the things Marketing 360 does especially well.
Yep.
What an incredibly exciting time to think about how you can come up with an innovative idea. You can go out, develop this kind of interest from people who are going to love it anyway, get some funding from them to help make it a reality, and just have a win-win for everybody across the board. You get the business opportunity, you provide a product that people are going to love. You have very efficient ways to be able to reach them. You got to love internet marketing sometimes, I'll tell you.
It's fantastic.
It's really cool.
Yep.
Hey, if you're looking for these kinds of opportunities, you're thinking about doing this, please contact us. We've got some very sharp people who are experienced at making crowdfunding and Kickstarter campaigns really successful, and we'd love to help you out.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Brandon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good luck out there.